Good evening, everybody. This is Robin with another edition of Horror Pop After Midnight. I'm here with Lakefront Pictures, Jennifer Goodman, Ryan Atkins, and of course, welcome back to the show, William Mark Mccullough. How's it going, guys?
How are you?
Oh, it's glad to be here. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for letting me have a little sneak peek of the film Unseen, the paranormal thriller. It kept me on the edge of my seat. That's all I have to say.
I love hearing that. That's the point.
So, William, you play a tough as nails father in the film. So, how'd you prepare that role?
You know, I think I grew up with a dad who was loving but also very firm. And just in life, I've run across a lot of people who are like Dan. And so I just kind of leaned into that a little bit.
You sure did. How much fun did you have working with RJ Mitte, who played your son? You know, he was trying to, earn your love and affection and, getting into the world of law to prove his point to you.
I had a blast. I was a huge fan of Breaking Bad, like huge. And when I saw that RJ was going to be in the film, I was so stoked. And I remember when my agent reached out and told me, hey, we got this project. I was like, oh, RJ's in it? Yeah, sign me up. And, she got the script from Jennifer. And I was like, I don't need to read the script. I'm like, I'm sure it's fine if RJ's doing it. I want to work with RJ. And it ended up being a blast. He was a wonderful actor to work with, very giving, and just a really great human being. I had a lot of fun. And I mean, everybody was awesome. And because the film was so intense, and my character obviously is pretty intense, it was nice to be surrounded by really sweet people when we weren't rolling the camera.
So, Jennifer, how did you and Ryan get together to bring this film for Lakefront Pictures?
Well, Ryan, you'll have to excuse my laryngitis, but Ryan and I have been working together for several years. We worked on a TV pilot that I actually auditioned for him on. We grew it, and we've worked together for a lot of other projects. After a conversation with Netflix, actually, we were kind of discussing features and other things that Lakefront has done. And that was the motivation, is the fact that they wanted to see more of the feature work and what else can we bring to the table besides short films and a TV pilot. So Ryan and I were discussing ideas, and he said that a horror would be something that most people would love. It would be capitalized on, and so we went that avenue and we built this together.
That's pretty good. There's a couple scenes in the film which, I had William in it, and of course, RJ. I noticed, I don't know if you did it for more of a paranormal like feel. I love how you added the blue lights into certain scenes, like in the classroom, and then at the house between Mark and RJ. That blue light you added into it, was it more like a paranormal type of feel to have everybody feel that?
Is that a me question or a Ryan question?
It's a Ryan question.
What scene in particular can you give more of context?
Yeah,
because we did utilize color to give a certain feeling through each scene, but I feel it's more of like a cop out for we talk to the colorist kind of thing. So I'm curious if I can answer your question more specifically.
I wasn't trying to say it was a cop out. I like the blue light. It was the scene where Mark and RJ were in the college classroom. And you can see like the blue.
Yes.
It wasn't. No, it's not a cop out. I thought it was like a paranormal, like elemental type of thing. I thought that's what you're trying to.
So for that scene, you never know what real elements you're going to run into that you can't change, and even if you did change them, you're realizing that you don't want to. That's what Vince and I ran into. We matched the projector light because we loved the color that was being put on the face was kind of just gross, and so we gave just a little bit from the side, and that gave a really unique feel to this classroom. This icky feeling. Dan's in charge. RJ is not doing so hot in the classroom. He has just barely enough support from the girl, in the back of the class, another bully. And so it worked to our benefit. We loved how it came out. So
yeah, I liked it because you can feel the tone of it and the strong presence between William and RJ on the screen. You can feel that tense moment getting ready to boil because you don't know where it's going to go. I just loved it.
I've seen that scene 20 billion times, and I just consistently hate Dan. I can't. It's just the combination of I'm just like, I can't stand this guy. So,
now, how'd you guys bring RJ onto the film to play Tommy?
So we had numerous discussions. First and foremost, our mission for our company is to elevate unheard voices and tell stories untold that change narrow perspectives. And RJ is a wonderful human and a wonderful character in Breaking Bad. And we really wanted to bring that charm and enthusiasm and give a voice to RJ. But moreover, when we were looking over the people that we were considering, when we got to RJ's name, we were like, we definitely want to bring him to the table. He's got a great look. He's charming. He's enthusiastic. And when we had conversations with casting, we worked with Carly Granofsky, and we told her we'd like to bring in RJ. We reached out to his manager. We started the process with him in, I think, the end of 2020, more like early 2021. And he was involved since we were raising money. And then we were calling him to update him. And we're like, okay. We had Zooms with him. He was amazing on the Zooms. We were by the end of it, he's like, I'm going to scare my sister. And I was like, no, you're not going to scare me. He's like, you know that there's spirits. Like when you're making a movie, there's all these spirits on set. And I was like, yeah, you're kidding. He's like, no, I'm not. And he starts telling me these stories. And my team's like, yes, he is the one. So, we just started building a foundation with him after being introduced to him. He loved the story. We loved him, and it just worked out great. So it's fun. Sorry about my voice.
That's all right. I love the law firm where Tommy goes to, Jude and Thier. That's like a creepy law firm, and the woman who plays Jude, she freaked me out. I don't know what it is. She just made my skin crawl.
Yep.
Jude and Thier was engineered to be. I was going to say Jude and Thier was kind of engineered to have just something. It's like that. The hand on the clock just a little crooked, a little bit. Just something's off about this. It's initially we had some scholars be like, "Well, that's not really how it works." I'm like, "Well, none of horror works how science is supposed to work anyway." And so it was those scenes were they were an extra joy to make. But yes, Kristen. She's definitely that neighbor that sleeps with one eye open, and she always knows where you are. So.
Oh, I know that she just creeped me out. That's all I had to say. I was like, I hope I don't end up meeting like a person like that, like walking down the street or something, because I'll exit stage left. I was like, no. Tell me a little bit about the special effects. There's some amazing special effects. There's one scene, I'm not going to, spoil it, but there's a scene in the room where you see like a sheet, which was kind of creepy. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminded me of, the original Halloween with the sheet. Someone under there staring at you where he gave you that creepy vibe.
Of course. So, we tried to be as practical as possible with this film, but when you do paranormal, sometimes you have to go to the CGI route. But all of our effect sequences, we had meetings beyond meetings with Periscope, post and audio. They did Ryan Croft did a phenomenal job with that. It may have been more people as well that worked on it, but we were deciding how we wanted to do it. And so basically, what do we want to do? How do we want to do it? What will it take to get it done? And so we worked with him several times on lighting it a certain way so that he would have, the ability to do his work. And the final turned out superb. We were astounded. So it worked out really well.
Yeah. I love how you, follow RJ Mitte's character from, how he's trying to earn his love to his father, and his father's giving him, like this tough as nails. It's like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And then you get into the backstory, why he kind of hates them and he kind of doesn't, where it explains a little bit. And then like towards the end, it was the film was like a slow burn, but it all added up in the middle towards the end, and I was surprised how you guys like ended it, and then I love the backstory between William and RJ, the father and son, what was really going on and why they had that such tension between each other.
It's more of a writing thing. Jenny commented on most of that, but shooting it was definitely a bit interesting, as Mark probably recalls. But it's more of a writer comment, I think. So,
I mean,
I was gonna say.
Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that's precisely the goal. One of the things I do with my writing, and this is in all my scripts, I leave the audience one way. I've got red herrings. I've got things that are happening, and then swing it out from under the rug and take you completely somewhere else. So if you're not paying attention to everything in the beginning, you're not going to understand where we are at the end. Because the truth is, everything that happens at the end is told you in the movie.
I think so, because I had to watch it twice, because I watched it first time around trying to...
I love that.
Yeah, trying to understand your, the writing style, because, I knew where you're going, but I was kind of a little lost at little things. So it's like, wait, okay, how did this go with this? So when I went around watching the second time, everything connected. I was like, okay, I understand now.
It's a bit of a method from Christopher Nolan, I think Jenny likes to do. So it's not always going to be, my mom wants to be told right up front, and we just say, Mom, just pay attention. The end's going to tell you everything. So I think she takes inspiration from that.
I do. And I think that's why Ryan and I connect so well, and Vince, because we're big Christopher Nolan fans.
Okay.
And like Oppenheimer's coming out, we can't wait. But it's just Inception is one of my favorite movies, so I like doing things like that.
Oh, I know. You can tell it had a little of a feel in that too, because I watch Inception, and you can ask William. I'm a sucker for like a cinematography and certain shots and angles, to get it just right. And some of your cinematography was pretty good in some of the scenes. It felt like it was like one of the characters in certain scenes, how you guys like shot it with the camera.
Thank you. No, it's I'm going to could probably butcher this quote, but in so many words, Roger Deakins once said, if you notice the cinematography, then he didn't do his job right. So it's heartwarming to actually get an acknowledgement like that, because it's usually that something went wrong, because it should just work. But I appreciate that. But some things that we knew what we wanted to do, and sometimes we just had to get it just right in the right spot. And it wasn't always planned to be here. Maybe it's going to be over here kind of thing. But in the end, I think it all turned out to work the way it needed it to. But we were very happy with what we did, and we wanted to kind of put the audience in the world of Tommy, just his jerk dad and his support system may or may not be there, a friend that's also going through some of this stuff. And we tried to have the cinematography move the story along. That's the job of it. Help us, understand character emotion. So
I love the story between Olivia and Tommy, how they had that great interaction, how they played off of each other in the film too. I love the whole Olivia thing where he first meets Olivia, and then she gives him the card, and the next she disappears. So I was thinking, going, okay, was Olivia a figment of his imagination,
right?
Or was she like a paranormal energy? You just don't know. That's why I got off it when he first met Olivia in the film.
We had a ton of debates about that because, and I'm not going to get too detailed, but the idea of Olivia. And when I wrote the script originally, there was a light flicker when the classroom ends.
Yep.
And Tommy's putting his books away, and his father comes over to him in the classroom. Mm-hmm. And right before he does, the lights flicker, and we see this person. And then the lights turn back on, and the person's gone. And there was this debate of if she's physically there, we need to physically see her. And what she represents for Tommy, it's not a love relationship. It's that they're both going through the same thing, and they have each other to fall on. Yet, without saying too much, she is doing some work, and she needs to do that work to get Tommy where he needs to go. and that's where I'm going to leave it. But she is definitely a mix of that world, and it was definitely a debate as to whether she's real or not. So it's interesting because I'm curious audience views of what they interpreted.
Oh, that's how I interpreted, because you just didn't know, And I love how you also gave Tommy a backstory, about him and his friend back in school. His friend was kind of a jerk to him, but he was kind of a friend to him. And then I love the story where, he meets this, this new girl in the high school and stuff. And I'm not going to get into detail either of that, but I just love how that story kind of also played out, how it entered in the middle of the film.
Mm. Yeah. And it's interesting because those were the first couple of scenes I wrote, was the school interactions and relationships with the ideas of how they would all come together. And so originally I had a version of that scene at the school of how they met. And then there's the real way they really met. And so it was interesting to kind of play with that, of how to really show it in a way that isn't confusing for the audience and giving them an understanding of how it plays into the whole story. So it's exciting for sure. I'm glad you liked it.
I did. William, so when you were in the film, were there any certain scenes or certain stuff during filming where it was kind of hard for you, to portray that character? Did you still stay in character after it was done, after you were done doing your scenes, and then when your scenes came back, you were in character, or did you turn it on and off? I mean, you did a very powerful performance in that film.
Well, thank you. If I kept that on, no one would be friends with me. So I definitely try to turn it off between takes. Yeah, it was tough. Again, as a fan of RJ, in my career, there have been quite a few times where I've got to work with people who are like kind of my acting heroes. And I always have to remind myself, they can be your heroes when you're watching them on TV or in the theater, but when you walk onto set, you have to let that go. Right. So, just working with someone I have a lot of respect for, and being so, sometimes cruel and very, very intense, it's a little tough. But everybody made it so easy. But generally, my approach to acting is, I act between action and cut, and because I tend to play a lot of pretty bad guys, and so if I kept that on, I don't think people would want to hire me again. So.
I gotta say, there was a moment at the dinner table when Dan was having a conversation with his son.
Yeah,
and he was saying a certain line in a certain way. The director reaches over to him to give you direction. And the first time you scared the heck out of me. And the second I'm like, okay, I know it's going to be coming. And I wasn't anticipating the right area. Uh-huh. Each and every time you're consistently saying the same way, the way that it's intended to give the audience that particular reaction. And I feel that you nailed the role. I'm thank you for being involved with it, because you nailed it. And I was trying to it's hard when you're monitoring the scene, and then I'm brought out of it because I'm getting too into the scene itself. So kudos to you.
Thank you, guys. It was a blast. Couldn't have done it without all of the wonderful support you guys provided.
Cool. We absolutely loved work. Mark was a dream. It's funny. We were auditioning for Dan, and Vince and I were watching the tapes or the links, and we're just like, yes, but no. Yeah. Then Mark comes in, and we're both like, yes. And I know my voice is terrible, but he not only did he capture the character, but he really understood the essence. I really felt that there was history behind his movements, performance. And we even, the dinner scene that Ryan's referring to, I play the sister.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of improv at the end. And the improv is why our cinematographer was taken aback, because he knew the script, but he wasn't expecting the improv to be as good as it was. And I don't want to ruin it because it's really good. But I think we were all like, whoa, okay. And so it was a real interaction that, we had to do several times because the director wanted to redo it. But Mark made it so easy for everyone to work with him and know that he's like a big teddy bear when he's not in action or cut.
Oh, totally.
Thank you, guys.
Also, another character I love in the film, I kind of geeked out, was Christian Stolt, Mulch, from Chicago Fire. When I saw him, I was like, wait a second, that's not Mulch. He's playing a psychiatrist besides a firefighter. How did you get him for that role? That was pretty awesome.
We actually, it's funny. We were talking about a place we could have a Chicago cameo. And we were talking about actors that we could reach out to. And I have a really good relationship with Grossman Jack, which is Mark's agent. And I was talking to her, and I said, the agent, I said, we would love to work with Christian. She's like, send me a script. I'll see if he is interested in auditioning for it. I'm like, yes. So we sent her, we said it's a small scene. Turns out he loves playing his character in Chicago Fire, but he wants to do something different. So he absolutely loved doing something different. And he was like, I'm in. I'm all in. You tell me what you need. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And he is a joy to work with. Such a nice, humble guy.
Just to quickly piggyback, the first time I saw him was actually, he was one of the main bad guys in Law Abiding Citizen.
Okay, I remember that.
It Gerard Butler. And that's and so working with him on set was completely different. The movies is not real life. I don't know if anyone does know, but it is not real life because he is one of the nicest people. But that's the first character I was introduced to of Christian Stolte. So.
He had a great performance with RJ, man. It's psychiatrist and patient, and I love how the emotion got between them, and then all of a sudden you just see Christian just freaking out. It's like, get out of here! I can't handle it. It felt like I think he felt like the deep paranormal presence that was really messing with his head, and he didn't want to have nothing to do with it. That's what I got out of it. So
that's awesome. I'm excited to see what people's thoughts are, but yeah, he's wonderful and he's great, and their chemistry, it's truly remarkable to see these two veterans really bring it to the table. So.
And I love how you brought RJ to the film. He has a cerebral palsy, which it doesn't affect him of his acting and stuff. I mean, he's still good. And I love how you Lakefront Pictures do give actors like that a chance, to prove themselves. Hey, I may have this, but I'm just a good actor. This is not my handicap.
Yeah. Well, we cast him without knowing that he had cerebral palsy.
No. We knew when we.
Okay, I know there was a couple different situations of actors that had things going on. I didn't recall that one.
Yeah, that was.
No, he definitely. I think you're mistaken with the other character, the other guy. Originally, we were looking at names of just standard individuals that. Mm-hmm. May or may not have something that they struggle with, but it's not as apparent. And we saw RJ on that list, and that's when the director and I said, I would love to capitalize on giving a voice to someone who doesn't normally have it.
Yeah.
And RJ would be perfect for that. So I think that's kind of where and I know you weren't as involved in those conversations, but that was kind of where the director and I were going. We had our list, and then we decided that, this would be a great element to elevate. And he was so perfect as an actor, as a person. It just all worked out.
That's why I liked about it. I mean, he did one hell of a good job. Also, you also did a TV series, Conrad, with Eric Roberts and Harry Lennox. Can you tell me a little bit about that? And how'd you get Eric Roberts? That guy is something.
He is. He's a sweetheart. I actually auditioned for Ryan. I had never met Ryan. And Ryan was doing a scene about a female suspect interrogating a male. It was just posted online, small paid gig, and I auditioned and got cast. And when I found out that it was a small project, I'm like, what's the character's background? What's her reasoning? What's the goal? And I said, do you have the rest of the script? And he's like, oh, it's just these few pages. And I'm like, well, what if this character did this? And so I ended up helping with ideas. And Ryan was like, if you want to write it, we can do something with this. So long and short, we wrote something that I kind of had some ideas. And after some communications, we filmed it with some, very local talent who are very good at what they do. And then we had some conversations with some networks. And it was like, the story premise is great. Who's in it? And we were like, oh, Jenny Goodman and so-and-so. And they were like, who? And we were like... So then we had a conversation internally, and we were like, I think we need to change the boat here. So we looked at where we could fit in some talent. And I am a major Blacklist fan. And I love Eric Roberts. I love Julia. And I needed a father for my character. And so Kelly Tidmore, who was our director, she was like, Eric Roberts was a dream when I was a kid. We got to get him. And I was like, okay. So everyone's like, no, Jenny, it doesn't work like that. You don't just like call someone. I'm like, oh, I'll call him. And so we had a coordinator who we were working with, and she and I were talking about some emails. And so she sent out an email. I reached out to Harry, started, building that relationship. He was on board. Then we started talking to Eric. He got on board, and these people loved what we were doing, came to Chicago, had a great experience, and we made a TV show.
All right, so where can everybody find you guys on social media? And you can also you can pre-order the Unseen film on Apple, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Pre-order is out now, and it's an exclusive right now. And Conrad is on Amazon, so you can download it there and watch it. And our social media is Lakefront Pictures across the board, and Unseen Movie on Instagram, and we're on Facebook as well. So.
An easy place to find. I was going to say an easy place to find all that stuff. If you go to lakefrontpictures.com, we actually have a link to pre-order the download for the Unseen on the homepage, and then also the Amazon link on the homepage as well for both of them. So they're easy to find. Each page has its own social media to it, so it's the Unseen's a little bit different naming on each social media platform, but Lakefront Pictures across the board on everything, and then the website's a good platform for everything. So, yeah.
William, where can everybody find you on social media? And also, he also has a great paranormal movie out there too. Everybody's got to see a Savannah Haunting, which was filmed at his house, which is actually haunted. And everybody, you need to see Unseen, and you also have to see Savannah Haunting. Those are the two paranormal flicks I really enjoyed so far this year of paranormal films. I think I've seen the Savannah Haunting at least 10 times.
Wow.
Thank you. A Savannah Haunting, you can find it pretty much everywhere with this, just a Savannah Haunting. And for me, it's just W. Mark Mccullough at all the normal places.
All right. Thank you guys so much. I had a blast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.